Bricks and Minifigs has a big update as the American Forks PD seemed committed to getting Reckless Ben thrown back into jail, putting him behind bars, and it seems like they've revealed their tactic and how they're going to do that. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm here in Japan having a lovely time, but it's time also for a Bricks and Minifigs case update. It has been long overdue, and many of you have asked for it, so I'm here to give you people what you're asking for. So here's where we're at. So the American Forks PD is the focus of this update because there's a lot of body cam footage that's coming out as a result of Reckless Ben likely getting an attorney, likely asking for this footage, being provided this footage. A lot of this is coming out and it is not looking good for Bricks and Minifigs or the American Fork PD. Now, it was very clear that this police department did not like the YouTubers. They're not fans of people from out of state coming in to investigate and particularly mess with local businesses. That was very clear. But what's becoming even more clear is they are committed and still want to try to help Bricks and Minifigs, even after all this time, even after all these things have come out. It seems like they are committed to throwing the towel in with Bricks and Minifigs, to picking a side here and saying, hey, we are going to help you do whatever is possible to put these people behind bars. They're not even asking for evidence. They're not even asking for backup to a lot of the claims that are being made. And some of the claims are absolutely wild.
They started threatening to kill some of the staff. And so they're just like, hey, if you don't, we're gonna kill you if you don't get this guy his money back and all this other stuff.
Now, these claims are part of a strategy because right now, Reckless Ben is out on bail. He's out on bond. And part of that, and this is very important for everyone to realize, is part of pre-trial release, a critical condition. In fact, one of the most commonly violated conditions of bail is the fact that you must not commit any federal, state, or local criminal offenses. And I know that sounds like it's obvious, like, hey, don't commit crimes. But there's lots of times where you might break a relatively minor crime, or you might do something that is a minor criminal offense, maybe a misdemeanor, and then boom, you violated that bail and you're sent back. So for example, certain traffic violations can be criminal. Oh, boom, they got you, violate bail, you're going to get thrown back in, that's going to be revoked, you're going to be put behind bars, or maybe there's going to be an increased requirement, there's going to be more money they're going to ask for. So right now they're trying to look to put him behind bars because for them, that seems to be the easiest way to silence him. And if you look at what they're going to try to do, it looks like they're going to use stalking.
I'll try to stack it on this stalking case.
Okay, so what's up with stalking? Well, stalking in Utah, and we're focusing on Utah here, it requires intentionally or knowingly engaging in a course of conduct. Let's put a pin in that because we got to define that. A course of conduct directed at a specific person and know or be reckless about whether that conduct causes a reasonable person to suffer fear for safety or emotional distress. Now that sounds like a lot, but the real core here and the thing that they're going to be focusing on is showing that course of conduct. It's easier to say, okay, this caused someone to suffer from fear of their safety or emotional distress, because of course Bricks and Minifigs is going to say we had emotional distress, we had fear. But what they really have to put together is a course of conduct. Now, what does that mean? That's very specific. So a course of conduct means 2 or more acts, such as following, tracking, monitoring somebody using technology or GPS, appearing uninvited at a person's homework or school, making unwanted phone calls, sending texts or mailing items, or watching, surveilling, or photographing. Now, let's be honest and let's be fair here. Throughout the course of their documentary, there's a lot of these things that could fit this course of conduct as stalking. But before they've been trespassed, before they've been told not to do these things, it's a little bit harder for them to put this together and say, yeah, you knew or should have known, right? But now that they've been trespassed, that they've been warned, that they've had ample time to know, and the police have informed them, they've been arrested. Hey, you can't be going to these places of work. You can't be bothering these employees. You can't be making phone calls or texts or emails, etc. You've got to stop. Now, at this point, anything they do beyond this is definitely going to go to a course of conduct. And remember, they've already hit Ben with multiple charges of stalking.
That's another charge, obviously. I mean, we'll stack him until he leaves you guys alone, I guess. You know what I mean? Or they put him in jail, one or the other.
So they're trying to paint this course of conduct and say that Reckless Ben is someone who is engaging in these things knowingly, that he's being reckless about this. And that's where they're trying to pinch him. So here's my judgment. The body cam footage is showing American Forks PD giving disproportionate aid and advice to Bricks and Minifigs. They're trying to move forward with this stalking thing. They're trying to get him sent behind bars. That's clearly the mission, and that's clearly the way they want to silence him. But you know what? When the YouTubers asked for help, they said they couldn't help with civil matters. They brushed them off. They aren't helping them at all.
It seems like there might be a lot of stuff like that got redacted, maybe to protect the police officers, not to protect the victims, if that makes sense. And so...
yeah, we don't do that. So like I said, anything that's redacted is pursuant to Utah State Code.
I can tell because when I sync the two clips together, I'm actually able to see that that's what the redaction was.
Okay, well, that didn't happen.
That definitely didn't happen.
No, I don't do that, Ben.
At this point, we clearly have an unfair course of conduct. And honestly, this reminds me of cases in other states like New Jersey, where after officers were given bad advice and shown to be taking bad routes and executing bad traffic stops, there was state review. There was individual retraining. We can have these things where the officers are actually retrained on how to do things properly, how to handle these things properly. The state can step in and say, this has got to change. Or the department itself can say, hey, we realize that we are coming off here as biased. We realize that some officers are doing things and saying things they shouldn't. We're going to retrain those officers. And those statements can be made publicly, just like they made a public YouTube video explaining the case of Ben Schneider. They can go ahead and make a public YouTube video saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and retrain our officers so that they're fair and they're rendering exactly the same aid, advice, and support to people, no matter their situation, right? Whether they're from in town or out of town, we're going to help everybody equally under the law. That's due process. That's exactly how things should go. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think about the saga? Have you been following this? Let me know, and I'll catch you on the next one.